Hello and welcome to Fight News Now Extra. My name is John Pollock, and today it's all UFC 167 chat coming out of the card this past Saturday, as John Ramdien and I will go over all of the key fights, including a hotly debated main event for the welterweight title. George St. Pierre left the MGM Grand Garden Arena with his UFC welterweight title on Saturday after a grueling 5 rounds of action with Johnny Hendricks. The fight went the distance with the judges split, having St. Pierre ahead on 2 cards. The difference came down to round number 1, with judges Tony Weeks and Sal D'Amato scoring it for St. Pierre and Glenn Trowbridge scoring it for Hendricks. After the fight, St. Pierre announced he was going away for a while but did not offer specifics, citing personal issues. UFC President Dana White is confident the issues are not extreme and expects St. Pierre back quicker. Rashad Evans ran through Chael Sonnen in the co-feature Saturday night, putting Sonnen on his back, and would proceed to elbow Sonnen and mount the back, finishing off his fellow analyst with ground and pound for the stoppage at 4:05 of the first round. And in an upset to many, Robbie Lawler defeated Rory MacDonald by split decision after the two went the distance. The key was Lawler's leg kicks in the opening round and outpacing MacDonald in the third, where his right hand was ultra effective, and now places Lawler amongst the top fighters within the 170-pound weight class. And we are coming off of UFC 167. John Ramdien here. Robin Black still feeling the effects of UFC 167. Certainly a topic of debate online, Mr. Ramdien. How did you score the fight on Saturday?
I think I had it pretty much the same as everybody else. It came down to that first round. Was it given to George, or do you give it to Johnny Hendricks? And I think it was George St. Pierre. If you look at the rules, the criteria for scoring in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, of course, it's under the 10-point must system, but you're looking at aggression, octagon control, effective striking, effective grappling, and I think when you take all that into consideration, George St. Pierre was the aggressor. Johnny Hendricks might have landed a couple more significant strikes, but we're not in there to feel the impact, and I think because of that, it was a very, very close round number 1, but it's one that I gave to the champion, and because of that, he retains his title.
I was on the other side of the fence. I thought the first round did go to Johnny Hendricks, an extremely close round. I think that whenever you have a close fight where you are, planting your flag onto one side of the scorecards and it comes out the other way, the instant reaction is robbery, and that was not the case on Saturday night. I just thought Hendricks, between those 2 uppercuts he landed and then those elbows with his back against the cage, I thought that was the difference in that opening round. I didn't think St. Pierre really locked in that guillotine for anything of significance, but it was a very close round, and I think that now the automatic option for me is a rematch between these two. Are we going to see that, though?
Well, who knows? I mean, right now, George says he's taken some time away from mixed martial arts, but this is where he'll make the real, according to when you think about Rampage, the way he says things, this is where he'll make the most cheddar from the rematch between him and Johnny Hendricks, because right now everybody's so interested in this fight. Everybody believes that Johnny Hendricks won that fight. Matt Hughes said it, Carlos Condit said it, Dan Hardy said it, and what are those guys kind of all having in common?
I don't know.
Oh, they all lost to George St. Pierre. But the fact is that everybody is so
Oliver Stone, everybody.
Well, I'm just saying, right? The fact is that George is the man. People want to see this guy down because he knows how to win. It's not always the most exciting fights. However, this fight was exciting. His fight with Carlos Condit was exciting. His fight with John Fitch was exciting. George St. Pierre is in more exciting fights than I think people realize. It's, again, they criticize him for his inability to finish fights. When you're facing a murderer's row of top-tier talent, you're not going to be able to finish guys. I mean, George is just a phenomenal fighter, and I think right now, it would only make sense that this rematch happens, but who knows? If that doesn't happen, I'm all for tournaments. Make some sort of welterweight tournament, because right now, number 2 to number 20, all intriguing. I'm sure you can find guys like, if your worst guy in the tournament is Brian Ebersol, bring it on.
This has also brought into question the scoring system right now. Dana White was furious after. He wants the governor to take care of this mess. Is this an indication of we do need changes? Is this the best scoring system right now? Is it not being used effectively? Or is this just something that, listen, there's going to be close fights and there's going to be debate coming out of it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's essentially boxing scoring with mixed martial arts in mind, and we've heard it over the years. People will always say that if they followed MMA for any length of time, well, let's use pride scoring. Well, they still use that type of scoring in Japan, and that is you score the fight as a whole. There are no rounds. You don't say, okay, round number 1, who won? Round number 2, who won? You look at the end of the fight, who tried to finish the fight, whether it be through knockout or submission, damage, and this and that. Well, you take that into consideration. Sure, maybe Johnny Hendricks won the fight, but it's not based on that. So you have to refine the rules, whether it bring in the half-point system, which a lot of people, a lot of fighters, a lot of trainers believe that that could alleviate so many problems. Because again, if you use the half-point system, well, the rounds that George St. Pierre won, yes, he won, but Johnny Hendricks would have been a 9.5 instead of a 9, and at the end of 25 minutes, he would have edged out St. Pierre based on that criteria. But
that's one of the biggest issues I have, is that you cannot weigh the first round, which we are debating right now. The numbers certainly reflect how close it was, with round number 4, where Hendricks was in his guard just murdering this guy on top. How are those both weighed the exact same as 10-9 rounds? And whether that be, hey, we have a 10-point must system, meaning there are 10 points at your disposal here, maybe that becomes the new 10-8 is what we saw in round 4, and maybe what currently is viewed as a 10-8 becomes a 10-7. Give these judges more options, and there's nothing prohibiting them from doing that, other than it's considered taboo to even think of something beyond a 10-8 round.
Yeah, I know, it's strange. It's also, you know, you can score 10-10 rounds, and if that's the case, everybody's saying, oh, that first round was so close, but I think that Johnny Hendricks edged it, or George St. Pierre edged it. Well, if it is that close, just give it a 10-10 round, and again, if it was a 10-10 round, George would still be the champion, but I think it's that, again, the UFC has only been around for 20 years. They've tried to sort out their whole situation from no holds barred fighting, getting sanctioned. So it's just, these are all growing pains. I think eventually they'll reevaluate the rules and the scoring criteria, and I'm sure something will be done.
All right, those are our thoughts. If you're watching us online, leave us your thoughts on who you scored the main event for, and we've got more Fight News Now Extra coming up right now.